Okay, it is so good to see all of you young and beautiful kids again here. We are in the 316 movement. We are talking about the names of God. And I don't want to take too much time to go into the names that we talked about it already. I want to mention them. But next week, because today is actually the last one we're going to talk about. So next week, I'm going to summarize all the names of God, which we have 9 Jehovah names that we're going to talk about. Today, only one. Next week, we're going to summarize all. But the very first one we talked about is Jehovah Nissi, the Lord our banner. Then we had Jehovah Ra, the Lord our shepherd and our friend. Then we went into Jehovah Rapha, the Lord our healer. Then we talked about Jehovah Shammah, the Lord who is ever present. Then we talked about Jehovah Sitkenu, the Lord our righteousness. Then we talked about Jehovah Makadesh, the Lord who makes us holy, or the Lord who sanctifies us. Then we talked about Jehovah Jireh, the Lord who will provide. Then last week we talked about Jehovah Shalom, the Lord is peace. And that leads us to the one that we're going to talk about today, and that is Jehovah Sabaoth. Jehovah Sabaoth is the Lord of hosts, or the Lord of armies. Now, if you go into the Bible, the first time that it is mentioned is in 1 Samuel 1 verse 3, where Samuel's father, he was not even born yet, Samuel's father, every year he would go up and bring a sacrifice before God. And the context is that he has 2 wives. One wife, he had a lot of children. The second one was Hannah, and she could not have children. And we know the story of Hannah and Samuel, right? Where she goes into the temple and she prays, and then the priest thinks, hey, she is drunk early in the morning because she was praying so fervently, but no words were coming out. So the priest thought she is drunk. And then when he confronts her, he said, no, I'm just pouring my heart out to God because I want a child. And then the priest said, oh yeah, you know what? God has heard your prayer. You will have a child. Now that is the context when it comes the first time. See, the thing is, it says translated the Lord of hosts or the Lord of armies. But in the 285 times that it is mentioned in the Bible, more than not, it is referred to as God to be powerful. Because that is another translation, not so prevalent, but it is also being translated as the Lord who is powerful. But most of the time, when people refer to God in the Bible, in the reference where it talks about the Lord of hosts or Jehovah Sabaoth, it actually means to exalt God. To say, God, you are more powerful than anything. You are more powerful than armies. You are more powerful than anything that we know. So they use it as a term of reference, a term of exalting God, not necessarily talking about military armies. And you know what? I thought about this. Sometimes we have the translation, but the translation is a little bit weak. It's not wrong, it's just the meaning is a little bit different. That's why it's important that we go into the Bible and see how the people actually use that term. And most of the time it was to exalt God, to say, God, you are more powerful than the situation that I am right now. God, you are more powerful than my enemies. God, you are more powerful than the situation that I struggle with. In Germany, to talk about context and translation. In Germany, we have a term which actually literally means pig. But it's a term that we use to make something extraordinary, extra big. So you could say, you are super duper beautiful to a girl. And then you would say, du bist sauschön. But if you translate it actually correctly word for word, it would mean you are as beautiful as a pig. Now, I'm not sure about you girls, but that doesn't sound like a compliment, right? But the term pig or sow is basically just used to make something extra big, extraordinary, extravagant. So it might not seem like a compliment, but actually it is. So in this word, how it is translated doesn't always necessarily have to do with armies or military strength, but to show that God is powerful above all other things. And that is something that we can incorporate in our prayer life. To say, God, you are Jehovah Sabaoth. You are the Lord who is more powerful. You are more powerful than me trying to struggling here with this test that I am studying for. God, you are more powerful than the conflict and the fight that I just had, maybe with my parents or with my siblings or with my friends. You are more powerful than that. God, you are Jehovah Sabaoth. You are bigger than the depression that I'm struggling with in my heart. God, you are so much bigger than all that. So call on Jehovah Sabaoth, the one who is all powerful, the one who has the power to really reach into your life and do something powerful. All right. So that is something that I challenge you to use in your everyday prayer life. You come to a situation you don't understand, you don't like. Call on Jehovah Sabaoth, the Lord who is powerful, because it's not necessarily only talking about military strength, but that he is powerful to work in your life, powerful to pull you out of the situation that you might be struggling with. Now, with this one, I open up for a time of discussion and questions, so I will see you there, guys. I love you, and bye-bye.